Good morning, my friends, and welcome to Where Wendy Travels. Today we are at JoAnn Fabrics, and we, of course, are looking at stores closing across the entire country. Let's take a look inside and see how it's doing. JoAnn Fabrics is closing all of its approximately 800 United States stores following its second Chapter 11 bankruptcy filing, which took place in January of 2025. Initially, the company planned to close 500 stores, but later decided to liquidate all locations due to ongoing financial challenges and the inability to find a buyer for the remaining stores. So they were sold out to a liquidator. All stores are closing. The closure process is underway, my friends, with 255 stores closing over this last weekend. I am so sorry to say. And the remaining stores are expected to shut down by the end of May 2025. Some of them slated for the second week, third week, but all of them will be closed by the end of May 2025. Going out of business sales are currently taking place at all locations. As you've seen on several older videos, most of the liquidations are sad. However, the stores are closing their doors very soon, so the sales are getting better and better, and they're not all happening at the same time. Each store is now different. In Georgia, several JoAnn stores are slated for closure, just like all over the country, my friends. While a comprehensive list is not available, you can refer to local news outlets or JoAnn's official website for updates on the specific stores near you that are closing. If you receive their email, they are telling you the date they are closing. Please note that JoAnn did stop accepting gift cards after January 28th, 2025, which has led to customer dissatisfaction, of course. During the liquidation process, the company's website and mobile app remain operational for browsing and product information, but you cannot buy anywhere but the physical stores. If you're looking for alternative craft supply stores, hit that comment button, let me know where you're shopping, and hit that subscribe button because I'm going to be telling you where we can shop. And my friends, I do want to let you know with JoAnn Fabrics closing, as we take a look through the store, I want to just pull your ear for a little bit and let you know some little known ideas for purchasing sewing tools and fabrics. If you have not looked into these with JoAnn closing, we might want to start giving them a little bit more of our attention. Estate sales. Older generations often leave behind high-quality sewing machines, vintage fabrics, and sewing notions, including zippers, buttons, lace, etc. Church thrift stores. Have you been to one? They are smaller thrift stores connected to churches, and they often have hidden craft selections. Library craft swaps. I had not heard of this before I did a little research. Some libraries actually host craft swap events where people trade tools and fabric for free, for barter, for change, just swapping them out. Online estate auction sales, like selling everything but the house. Fabric lots and antique sewing tools often appear here, so keep your eyes out. Garage sales and senior communities. These neighborhoods often have amazing vintage tools and fabric at very low prices. Facebook buy and sell groups for crafters. Look on Facebook. Ask the local Facebook groups if they know where to find local sewing and quilting groups. And these people often sell their unused stashes. Restore, which is the Habitat for Humanity store, Restore. Besides building materials, some locations receive craft supplies as donations. Also, Free Cycle Networks. People actually give away sewing machines, fabric, and supplies when downsizing or clearing out. So look for these free cycle networks. Also, farmers markets, craft selections. Some farmers markets allow fabric artists to sell leftover materials cheaply. So try the farmers markets. You'll find homemade goods sometimes, and you'll find leftover materials usually going much cheaper than you would in a storefront. University theater department sales. Yeah, I know it's rare, but you can find some gold mines here, my friends. Costume departments sometimes sell off surplus fabric, trims, and tools. How about this one? Costume rental companies sell-offs. Some sell used costumes made of great quality fabric. Fun for us crafters. Also, look at Craigslist. Yes, Craigslist has an arts and crafts section. Sometimes whole bins of fabric, patterns, or tools are sold for a fraction of their value on Craigslist. Antique stores. Yes, my friends, many antique stores have junk bins. Many have baskets of lace, thread spools, and fabric scraps for pennies. Sewing machine repair shops. They sometimes sell abandoned or refurbished machines and tools. Try the fabric remnant bins in upholstery shops. You've seen my videos. I do this. Huge, heavy-duty fabrics, perfect for home decor projects. I use these for my junk journals and lots of different crafting ideas. Make some great totes. Schools phasing out home economics programs. Sometimes they give away or sell machines, patterns, and supplies. I know it's sad. I'd rather give to schools, but times are changing, so look there as well, or keep your eye out. Local quilt guild fundraisers. Sometimes they have yard sales. Members often donate large amounts of fabric or unused sewing tools. Online closeouts like WAWAK, W-A-W-A-K, or fabric.com closeouts. High quality tools and fabric go on deep clearance. Surplus and salvage stores. They look for odd lots of fabric and heavy duty sewing supplies. Now, my friends, also, believe it or not, Amish and Mennonite communities. Some sell excellent sewing tools and handmade fabrics at roadside shops and markets. This is also an excellent place to buy your quilt tops or your finished quilts, handmade from the Amish and the Mennonite communities. Incredible. And since we do have some time left, as I walk through the store and I show you some of these prices, I hope you're paying attention to the different clearance. Now, this store is slated to close by the end of May. So it has lots of things, but you're going to see me walk into a store that closes tomorrow. So you are going to see each store has its different prices, because when a store is within a week of going out of business, that's when, my friends, I missed, but that's when you want to get there for those 80 and 90% off. And trust me, my friends, that is a gold mine. You want to get to the store to do that. Okay, so since we have some time left, I want to tell you a little bit about, I know we're losing JoAnn Fabrics. I know you're unhappy about where do we go next, and I want this to be a community for all of you. So hit that comment button. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know where you're getting your fabric, your sewing supplies, everything else. But I also want to tell you about some historical ways of creating clothes or fabric at home, so maybe we don't feel so bad. Did you know that someone out there in the world, we started doing this, and somebody's still doing this, hand spinning wool, using a drop spindle or spinning wheel to spin sheep's wool into yarn or thread. Yes, my friends, if the manufacturers can do it, maybe that's a cool hobby that we can pick up doing as well. And natural dyeing. Okay, we're doing a lot of dyeing fabric, so buy your whites. But what about natural dyeing with boiling plants, flowers, bark, even insects like the cochineal to create dye for fabric and yarn? Wouldn't that be cool? Yes, there's a process, and that's something I might be doing. So hit that subscribe button because that sounds very exciting to me. Also, hand weaving on a loom, setting up warp and weft threads manually to weave fabric strips. Backstrap weaving. I can't talk today, sorry. A simple loom tied to the body and a fixed post to create woven cloth. Finger weaving, braiding or manually intertwining threads without a loom to make belts and sashes. Tablet or card weaving, using square cards with holes to twist threads into strong woven bands. Felting. We all have considered this, my friends. Matting wool fibers together with water, soap, and pressure to create thick cloth without weaving, just kind of punching it. Knitting by hand. Before needles, early forms of looping yarn by finger without modern knitting needles. Imagine doing this, my friends. What about crocheting with bone hooks? Bone, wood, or ivory hooks were used before metal ones became common. Do any of you have one of these? Do you have the old wood hooks? Do you have a bone or ivory hook? I'd love to know. Hit that comment button. Let me know if you've used it, how it's different from the metal ones that I'm used to, or the plastic hooks that I'm used to. What about making a cloth from flax, which is linen? Making cloth from linen, growing, harvesting, retting, and spinning flax plants into linen thread. Amazing what these people went through. And yes, my friends, if you're into painting, right now might be the time to go get your art brushes. They are selling out the paints. I've also seen them disappearing. So I don't know if they're selling the paints wholesale or what, but if you know your paints, get into JoAnn Fabrics right now. Get your paints, get your art brushes, the expensive ones, before they're gone. So let's get back to sewing and the historical ways of sewing. What about using the bone or wooden needles for sewing? Ancient people used sharpened bone or wood needles and sinew. So picture this, my friends. We survived, if you're into this, in the Nature Channel, we survived the ice ages, the previous ice ages, by sewing furs, animal furs, with these bone needles to make clothing to keep us warm. Wow. Okay, that was too much. TMI. So patching and piecing clothing. Before fabric was easy to get, old garments were patched extensively, often beautifully. And I know a lot of you have told me instead of batting, you use blankets and different things. So tell me, how creative have you been, and how has it looked, and how is the finished product? I want to know your comments. And of course, quilting was not only for beauty, but for warmth. Layering scraps of cloth and sewing them together to create thicker, warmer garments. And this is kind of gross, my friends, but using animal guts or cat gut for thread. Tough thread for sewing heavy materials or shoes. Just like I use some thin leather strips for some of my ties on my junk journals, or for going through and tying purses, shoes, belts, different things I make. Yeah, okay, TMI. Hand-making buttons from wood, horn, and cloth. Wow, how cool is playing with buttons? Before plastics, buttons were individually carved or woven. Do you have any? Search your garment, search your old antique clothing, and let me know, do you have any carved or woven buttons that were made pre-plastic? And We've probably all done this, braiding fabric into rope or belts, upcycling fabric scraps, fun, into strong utility items, like a purse strap. What about hand tatting lace? Using small shuttles to weave intricate lace patterns. Now that's an art, my friend. That is truly an art. Or embroidering to strengthen fabric. Embroidery wasn't just decorative. It could reinforce areas prone to tearing. Very cool. Well, my friends, thanks for joining me today. I hope you've enjoyed it and have a great day. See you soon.